Hey, look at we're there. All right, I believe, Ben, are you okay on your end? You see it?
Yeah, we're good.
Is Mark on still, or where'd he go?
Yeah, Mark is here. Who is the last four numbers 9260?
That's Topeka.
Who is 9260?
Topeka.
Topeka's on the line.
Okay, I have to get, I changed the names on these so we know who's speaking.
Okay.
Okay. And,
Hold on, Randy, I'll be right back. Hold on.
okay. And then who's 1022?
Randy, that's Carrie.
Okay.
Who is Mark?
Scarlato, the Legislative Council. Scarlato?
Are we discussing legislation tonight?
Who is 3961?
That's Dex, Randy.
Okay. Okay, so we got well, I believe everyone is here and has gotten everyone.
All right, I'm gonna call us to order then at 6:03 p.m. Start with the roll call. Alderman Donahue, here. Bilotto.
Here.
Alderman Alexander.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
And Alderman Klinker.
Here.
Alderman Klinker's here, all right? All present and accounted for. Next, we have public comment. I did actually not receive public comment via email. I did receive one through a text message, which I'm gonna go ahead and I guess allow. It's from Carol DePace Green. I'm not gonna get into all the caps, and she gets pretty emotional on this, but today is a call to action. BI has failed in its effort to do what is necessary. Higher rates of COVID-19 are due to disparity, and she lists poverty, race, and gender. This demand action. Poverty kills. BI taxpayers deserve AOS services. BI must ramp up cleaning inspections of food stores. Inspectors must go out and get out and inspect. Inspection of food vendors, inspectors must go out and get out and inspect. Plan must be implemented for BI AOS services. A solid work group needs to be implemented and mobilized. That includes the population being served, activists, and healthcare providers. All right, thank you, Ms. Green. Next, we're gonna go on to item number 4, discussion of contractual and part-time employee compensation during COVID-19. And I know in the packet, Topeka sent out, there looked like there was a spreadsheet of all essential part-time employees. So I don't know, Topeka, if you wanted to discuss.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I worked with the department heads who did a listing of all the employees that they deemed essential, and then I gathered the blue cap worker details on my own via Paycom along with the police department. And what I did was I just, in that spreadsheet, I asked them to break down each individual's weekly schedule and also indicate, what their duties are and what makes them essential. And I believe that the only area that said that their employees are not essential is the rec center, because he said that his staff, his part-time staff, has actually not been on site since everything has begun. But everyone else has pretty much said that their staff has been coming in. And so that's just a general forecast of what our payroll wage expense would be if we were to include all of those. So if we were at full workforce occupancy for all part-timers, including Blue Cap.
All right, thank you, Topeka. The numbers I have looks like they're different than what's on the screen right now. I have something like $7,963.14 without Blue Cap, and then the grand total, I guess, with Blue Cap would be $8,869.64.
So Topeka.
Yes, that's what I have. I'm not looking at the screen, but that is the spreadsheet that I sent out. So that is correct, what you just read.
Okay, so Topeka, just so you know, whatever you sent out, I just put on the screen. So okay, I'll take that one away.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I just went straight to the email and pulled the files from the email that I sent out. So I didn't make any additional modifications after I sent the files out to you all.
Okay, and since we met last week, I guess an email went out from whoever the HR person is that part-time employees are no longer essential. Is that correct?
No, I believe what happened was there was like a task force meeting, and they determined who the essential employees actually were. And I believe that it was stated that it was only emergency personnel who should actually be on site, and then specifically maybe supervisors to come in, like the golf center and the rec center as supervisors. But I don't remember anything saying that part-time employees were essential. I don't remember that verbiage specifically.
One second, let me pull up. I got a copy of the email, so.
Okay.
This is Carrie Horvath. It was determined that except for the individuals that work in the police department, that the part-time employees in the rec center and the golf course were not essential. There was really no discussion concerning the building department employees or the two employees that work in public works.
This is Mark Scarlato. How was that determination made, and was the information provided to the alderman?
You have the information in front of you as to what their salaries are. How was the determination made? It was determined that because the golf course and the rec center are closed, and that at the golf course you have two salaried employees who could be there regularly on a daily basis, that there was no need for part-time employees at this point in time, and that at the rec center, there was no need for the part-time employees to do anything because other than some cleaning, there was really nothing for them to do. So aside from that, if you look at the directives that have been coming down in terms of essential employees, part-time employees that really are not doing anything remotely close to what's required or what's described in the governor's directive are not considered to be essential, Mark.
It's Alderman Bilotto here. I have to agree with the building department, public works, police. I would assume that there's no reason why they can't work. If anything, we want people on staff, especially public works and police, in case a few of them get sick. I would have to agree with the golf and the rec center that they're not essential. Blue Cap, I'm not too familiar. I'd have to defer on someone who has more familiarity with them.
All right.
This is Alderman Johnson. I know they utilize Blue Cap to clean the rec center, but per the governor, those two, the golf course and the rec center, shouldn't be open anyway.
Right. So, all right. So,
Alderman Johnson, I think the only issue with Blue Cap and the reason why they haven't been coming back is because I think they consider them like a vulnerable population with their health. So we haven't been actually bringing them in. So I just gathered a forecast from the last time they were actually on site, and I used that to kind of forecast what their hours would be. But they actually have not been coming for about 2 weeks.
Okay, because the cleaning portion, we really not equipped or licensed or certified to even clean either spot, as far as the coronavirus is concerned.
all right. Well, so I guess the discussion or the direction is that the police and public works and building part-timers should still be going to work or being scheduled to work.
I have to agree with that.
Are we all in agreement? I guess I'm just looking for agreement here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
in
I agree
agreement
with
with police and public and building. Those are the three departments you said, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yep. Yeah, this is Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with it too. Klinker.
All right. Well, I don't think we need to vote on that. So that was a quick one. So moving right along, we're going to go to payroll, which was for the pay period ending April the 3rd, 2020. The amount, the total cash requirement is $329,911.38. Are there any questions regarding the payroll or the number I just read off? No. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion by
second.
Alderman Bilotto, and with Alderman Alexander, did you second that?
Yes,
All right, thank you. All in favor of approving payroll for 4/3/2020 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right.
No,
All right. We
Johnson.
have Johnson's a no. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 ayes and 1 no. Majority. So the motion is hereby declared pass. All right, next, we have item B under section 2, the BI EMA pay inquiry. Right before the meeting started, I forwarded an email with the attachment that Ken Abel references where he gets his this pay from. So a couple things on this. First, that I know we passed the appropriation. The appropriation had $12,000 in the former BIEMA budget. Mr. Abel, there's no money appropriated for this salary. There was no one told he was hired. And then second, now looking at what we're going off his current wage reports, going off of what a union glazer makes, which I have no idea what has to do with emergency management, crowd control, what they're doing. So I for the reasons I just stated, that we didn't appropriate for it, and that he's providing us with glazer union painting wage scales to be paid, I don't think we should be paying Mr. Abel since. And the other reason too is that we appropriated for one person the $12,000 for Mr. Marchbanks. Everyone else is a volunteer. And that's what it was appropriated for, and there was an appropriation for Mr. Abel's.
Kevin, can you mention the salary amount and that it's a full benefit position?
Yeah, so according to the email I know in the packet, there was a full email that he said that his hourly wage is 62 with benefits. But him and the mayor, I guess they spoke. He just asked for an hourly wage on his check, which is, I guess now he's just asking for the 36 an hour for these glazers. So again,
Alderman Donahue, I got 1,000 questions on this. There's more questions now with this new email you sent me. Does anybody know who he is? What does he do? Who hired him? What is his job? What was his job? I got 1,000 questions.
All right, Alderman Klinker, I can kind of hopefully fill you in a little bit. So the Friday, and I don't have a calendar in front of me, the Friday before the police closure date, the mayor asked me to be on the COVID-19 team. So I met with the mayor and this Mr. Abels in the mayor's conference room. I think it was like 3 o'clock that afternoon. The mayor introduced me to him as Ken Abels. That was all I got from him. He talked to me a lot about trying to purchase a lot of different things that the city's going to need. Mr. Marchbanks was not present in the meeting. There was no mention that this guy was a paid employee or anything of the city. I exchanged phone numbers and emails with this guy. And that was, I heard from him again the next day after the police station was closed down, when he called me to give me a kind of a rundown of what actually happened later Sunday afternoon, probably about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But at no time did I know this guy was a paid employee. I talked to the police chief. That was the first day she had met him too, was the Friday before. So 2 days before, a day before the police station was closed down. I talked to the fire chief. He had met him once earlier, a week or so before, when the guy asked him to move his car. And other than that, the fire chief didn't meet him until that Friday also. So, I mean, what I'm getting at is nobody has any clue who this guy is. I don't know who hired him. I have no clue what his background is. I have absolutely no idea what was going on with this guy. And then to get an email that says he wants $36 an hour is just absolutely ridiculous.
And the other email said $60 an hour would make him the highest paid official employee in the whole city.
Yeah, well, he was
more
talking
than
to
the
me
fire
about,
and police.
he was talking to me about trying to, get the support from me and the finance committee to purchase things that he thought we were going to need in the long run for this. Like I said, he called me Sunday afternoon because I contacted the mayor and wanted to know what happened with the police station. And the mayor called me back, talked to me briefly. Then this guy called me back and talked to me at length. And that's my dealings with him. So I don't know where he came from. He did tell me on the telephone that he claimed, and I'm finding out differently, that he's worked for the city with Don and Ema for the last 2.5 years. I find it hard to believe that someone that's worked for the city for 2.5 years, that nobody knows who he is. So,
And there's no money appropriated for this gentleman's salary and benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. We shouldn't pay him.
Anybody else on the line know who he is or anything more about this information?
This is Alderman Johnson. I met him at the 4th of July parade when they was blocking off the streets and things of that nature. But what position he holds and all that, I don't know. But I just know he was part of, the Homeland Security, the Blue Island.
The 4th of July parade, or you mean the light parade, Dex?
I'm sorry, light.
Okay, so December was when you met him.
All right. I know Topeka, you're fairly new. Have you had any interaction with Mr. Abel?
Yeah. So Alderman, I was actually going to state that, he was actually in City Hall. And so I was in City Hall. So I've been in contact with him a number of times. And I know that they were trying to get him hired, but I told them that I can't move forward with anything unless I have an employment contract in place, because I have nothing that kind of helps me enforce his position. So I kept telling him, if you guys are going to be hiring this guy, that I need an employment contract, something that states what his position is and what his rate is and what his duties are going to be before I'm actually willing to put it on, put him in the payroll system, something that kind of like officiates it, so that if I'm asked these types of questions that, no one's looking at me like you just did this without any approval. So I never got anything. So that's why, I'm very apprehensive to pay him, just because I don't have anything on paper stating, how long he was here, what we agreed to pay him, what his title was, I don't have anything. So
sure.
That's the position I'm in.
Yeah, and I know I asked you for the document that he referenced, and you didn't have it, but Marisol sent it right before we started. And again, he had provided something that has to do with union painters, not with emergency management professionals or anything relative to this. So it's very confusing why we're going off the union journeyman scale for a painter blazer to pay a guy who's supposed to be a volunteer with the former ESTA department.
Now, I will say to his credit, when we were there, he was very informative. He gave us a lot of information about pandemics. He was very resourceful as far as like the information that he knew. So that was really useful. But as far as like actual work and things like that, I didn't see anything. But I was also in my office too, you know.
Sure.
So I can't say that he wasn't doing anything, but that's just from my perspective. So I just wanted to share that with the group.
Alderman Bilotto, again, does he
I
have an
don't think
email
we're-
address or a phone or city property, or does he have any of that stuff? He's not an employee.
Not to my knowledge. I didn't release any city property to him. And like I said, I have no official documentation that states anything about him. So even though he gave us these hours and I could say that he was there, I can't really prove it because I don't have him in Paycom and actually having him swipe in. So I can't even say, you know, yes, that I can back this up with anything. So
He did have a City of Blue Island email address when we exchanged information. He gave me his cell phone number and a City of Blue Island email, which I'd love to know when that was actually issued. Because like I said, he told me that he's been working for the city for 2.5 years. And now all of a sudden, a week before all this comes down, we're going to start, he works out a deal with the mayor where we're going to pay him $36 an hour. It just sounds very suspect to me. Plus, none of us have any idea. And he said he had a stack of certificates 2 inches thick is what he told me. I'd love to see those. That would have been something we should have all seen before we even thought about hiring someone in this position.
There's Alderman Bilotto here again. Job was never posted. We have no idea who he is. He's got a city email address. It sounds like deja vu all over again. You can't just hire people without posting the job, without in the budget appropriation. There's no money outside of the former director's $1,000 a month for a $120,000 a year job. There's so many. So anyways, move on, Alderman Donahue, because I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Alderman Blotto, I agree. The understanding was always with BIEMA that the only person that was going to get paid was Don, and the rest were either volunteers or got reimbursed through movies, TV shooting stuff. So it's just very suspicious and suspect. I'm sure he did a great job. I'm sure maybe he did work those hours, but it wasn't a budgeted position. It was never, besides the mayor working out a deal to approve his journeyman painter scale, it wasn't posted or approved or told anyone otherwise. So I don't think we should pay it. So I'm looking for a motion to deny paying this pay inquiry.
I'll make the motion, Klinker.
A second.
I got. This is Alderman Johnson. I just got a couple questions.
Sure,
I
go
know
ahead,
the guy
Dennis.
been around. I know the guy been around, but I think Don was the only one that we okayed to pay, you know, out. And I know that everybody else was volunteered pretty much.
Right.
But like you said, we don't have, you know, if the guy could at least bring his certifications in and something, but like trying to compare his pay to a position that has nothing to do with, you know, BIEMA is kind of crazy. So until he can get that stuff in and prove some stuff, I agree.
Alderman Donahue, if I can again.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Randy, I know Randy and Carrie around here. Randy, do you know? I can't even picture what this person looks like. And between me and you, we know probably everybody employee in the city. Has he been around that long, Randy? Have you seen him around the city? Is he in the mayor's office?
I saw him upstairs in the conference room with the mayor one time, and yeah, I don't know who he is.
This is Kerry. I never met him. I never met him. I spoke with him by phone. I don't know anything about the particular agreement that was discussed or that he references in his email. So be it.
All right, Carrie, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. All right, so we have anything else on this? We have a motion and a second. So all in favor of denying the pay signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All right. You sounded like it was unanimous. So motion's carried. Moving along. just looking, any comments before we adjourn, questions?
Alderman Donahue, this is Alderman Alexander.
Yeah, go ahead, Alderman.
Were you able to look into the question I asked you at the previous meeting regarding Blue Island being qualified to get stimulus money from the government for
So,
payroll?
so right now, I know they're submitting FEMA-related expenses. In the current stimulus package, money going to state and local government is capped, or it has a population, I believe it was 500,000 people. So it was really just City of Chicago, Cook County, Will County, DuPage County, maybe Kane that qualified for that. So with the big third stimulus package, we won't get any of the reimbursement money. But I know Howard and the fire chief have been working on reimbursing the staff through some FEMA stuff. So we should hopefully see some reimbursements through there. Anything else, Alderman?
No, that was it. Thank you.
And I have a real quick update about that, Kevin.
Sure.
Howard has set up an account just like yesterday or this morning, actually, where a FEMA account where the two chiefs are going to be submitting, and I don't know what we'll get from it, but we have set up an account and we are tracking it, and hopefully we'll be able to receive monies.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right. If there's nothing else, just looking for a motion to adjourn our meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Bilotto. Is there a second?
Second.
By Alderman Alexander. All right. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll talk again on April 13th at 6 p.m.
All right.
Stay home.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.